Hello folks, this is Sam Teresa, and I'm happy to be a part of this, the 7th installment of Tuesdays with the Tarp Skunks. As many of you may know, my vocation in life has been public service, devoting nearly 40 years to various positions with the city of Jamestown, the last 20 of which I have had the honor to serve as its mayor. But what some may not know is that my avocation is and always has been baseball, specifically as a lifelong New York Yankees, Jamestown Falcons, Jamestown Expos, Jamestown Jammers, and now Jamestown Tarp Skunks fan. So without any further ado, here is an excerpt from Chapter 7 of Across the Seams, Professional Baseball in Jamestown by Dave Muley. From late June of 1957 to March of 1961, Municipal Stadium remained quiet and still, but the characters who had thrilled Jamestown baseball fans were busy playing for Major League Baseball fans across the country. In Brooklyn, 10 days before Hall of Fame night formally ushered professional baseball out of Jamestown in 1957, Greg Muley was called from his managing position in Montreal to coach in Brooklyn. During the second half of the 1957 season, the final season played at Ebbets Field, Muley and his old rival, Jumpin' Jake Pitler, shared a clubhouse as Dodger coaches. It was Pitler's final season with the Dodgers, but Muley would go on to Los Angeles with the team the next season. Muley and his family said their goodbyes to friends in Jamestown and moved to California before the 1958 season opened. Muley coached the Dodgers until 1961, when Leo DeRocher, the manager of the New York Giants, whose club made it to the World Series in 1951 and 1954, was hired as manager. Mild-mannered Muley didn't get along well with the brusque DeRocher, and he returned to scouting. In 1960, Jamestown's Irv Noren completed his career with Muley and the Dodgers. Also on the 1961 Dodgers roster was Bob Buck Rogers and Maury Wills, still haunted by Al Campanis for his late night in Jamestown as a member of Doc Axelson's Hornell Club. In the American League in 1957, Bob Shaw and Charlie Lau were beginning their careers in the major leagues with the Detroit Tigers. Shaw would soon be traded to the White Sox, where he and second baseman Nellie Fox would lead their club to a World Series against the Dodgers in 1959. The Dodgers won the series in 6 games, despite Bob Shaw's 1-0 shutout against Sandy Koufax in front of 92,706 fans at the Los Angeles Coliseum, an all-time attendance record for a World Series game. Along Lake Michigan, from the losing White Sox, in Garden City, Michigan, Michael Ilitch was putting the finishing touches on his first Little Caesars restaurant. In Detroit, Charlie Lau caught for Frank Larry, the Yankee killer. When Phil Regan joined the Tigers in 1960, he became the 38th former Jamestown player to make it to the majors, according to Jamestown's Frank Hyde. By the end of the 1960 season, Jamestown players had appeared in 9 of the last 12 World Series.
Anthony Barone, this is great. Thank you for the word and the milkman, and I got everything tied in.
Yeah, we got our
and right
jammers.
There's the jammers. His whole life story is right before us.
Yeah.
Jamestown Tarp Skunks. Your immediate reaction?
I just, I was hoping a little bit that we'd keep the tradition of the jammers, and but no, I think it's unique. It's something where you can market, and we had a run-in with Skunks while we were there when, I think in 2017, 2018, they started living in the Tarp, and, so, I mean, it fits. I like it a lot. I mean, it's just something where I think for the younger generation, probably it's pretty cool. We used to deal with them several places. So anytime we had a rain delay, we would, all the guys would come down from the dorms, and we always had to roll the tarp. The guys would help the city crew, and we all would help in, pitch in. And we always first made sure, we'd look in there and throw baseballs in there to just sort of warn the skunks that we were, going to be rolling the tarp. And so that was like the main experiences. Anytime you had a tarp roll, you had to worry about that. And then every night, laundry time came, uniforms, middle of the night, the skunks would run the concourse. I guess first thought too, to be honest, was I sort of wondered what Russ Dietrich was thinking. I was at Phil and Cindy's down in Falconer when I saw Mayor Teresa, Sam Teresa. He had known my prior history with baseball, and I knew the Jammers had just went moved to Morgantown and the old professional team. So I saw Mayor Teresa at Phil and Cindy's, and he's like, "Hey, you got a minute to talk?" I go, "Yeah." I go, "Actually, I gotta run. I was actually just on like a break, and I had to get back up to work." He goes, "Just give me a call in the next couple of days." I said, so I called Mayor Teresa right back the next couple of days, and he said, "Do you have any interest in getting back into baseball?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to," and he said, "Well, you know what? I don't know if you sort of followed what's going on with Jamestown, and Kevin Romberg bought the team, and he's a fellow from Ohio, Lorain, Ohio, and we'd like to talk to you a little bit." And each year we got better. Like that was the coolest thing. I learned each year, and as a manager, coach, you want to learn and try to get better. And every year, we not only record-wise, but from a financial standpoint, I think from everything we did, we got better every year, and culminated with 2018. We lose last year in 2017 in the championship game 3, winner take all. And we've worked so hard to get to this point where we're the 1 seed coming off that disappointment, and then I just get told after all this hard work, we're gonna have to win this on the road. I'm like, oh man, we were the worst, not the worst, but we weren't a great road team, and we didn't know what it was. But Russ Dietrich came on the bus. I remember before we were leaving for Geneva for our best of 3 series there, and Russ came on the bus and was very positive, and he felt bad, and he sort of tried to inspire the players, and you guys had a wonderful season, and don't let this get the best of you. And here's their manager of the team. Personally, it was almost like I felt like we'd worked so hard for this, and then I just hope we didn't come up short. But that's where that's where the trust that my players had in everything, and the culmination of 4 years of finally, as a manager, trusting the guys just to go do it, just go play, and we saw it as a challenge. Like, this is sort of cool. We get to be Mike Zimmerman and Dan Kinsey didn't think it was great because budget and bus trips, and they felt bad for the guys because hey, we want to win a championship, and Dan and Mike have always been great to me, and they just they said, go out and kick some ass and do what you can. We're proud of you, and and that sort of set the stage, I think, for one of the coolest runs we ever baseball this area. People don't know about it because they didn't get to see it, and I know, though, I was on that the bus ride home when we won in Amsterdam, and the stories, just to win. To beat Amsterdam, who is every year the most talented team in the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, the type of players that they get compared to that roster that we had in 2018, and then if you told me that we were going to beat them on their home plate, on their home field, 3 games, betting man probably wouldn't have taken us, but that's where the trust came in, and finally the culmination for me as a manager, just trust the guys, let them go do their job. And sure enough, we're nothing was easy. We were actually the home team in game 3 in Amsterdam, bottom 7, and We have first and second, no outs. I'm like, great, this is a great situation. We can move them up, maybe get them in, tie the score. And we get to a 3-0 count with Alex O'Donnell, our best player by far that summer. And he 3-0, and I had the bunt sign on originally the whole. I'm like screw this, let him hit. Now we got the best player, our best hitters in a good count. He gets to 3-2. I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to put these guys in motion. Everyone's in motion. Let's stay out of the double play. Alex never strikes out. So 3-2 guys are in motion. What does he do? Pops one up. So I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, I just get hit a ground ball somewhere so we can move up second to third. So he pops it up. First and second, 1 out. We have Sterling Hayes up from Vanderbilt. And Sterling, another good guy with bat control, and works a 3-0 count. Like, you gotta be kidding me. So he gets to 3-2. I put the guys in motion again. Sterling's quick. He's not going to ground into a double play, whatever. Thought it was a good baseball play. Pops it up. I'm like, oh, God. I'm like, maybe it's just not meant to be, So, and finally, Chase King's up. And Chase is one of our young guys from University of Texas, San Antonio. And I'll still say it, the biggest hit in Jamestown baseball history. He gets down first and second, no outs, or 2 outs. And he's facing a tough guy from Seton Hall. I remember the pitcher. And he looks bad at first. He looks at us one right down the middle. And anyway, 0-2. The guy, I'm like, great. And Chase will chase pitches down in the count. So I'm like, yeah, this isn't a good situation. But, and I don't know who was looking over us, but Chase got a pitch on 0-2 and hits it over the left field wall, opposite field, and we take the 5-4 lead, and Ryan Boyer closes it out. And I really, it was all like a miracle, and it was the best baseball experience I think I've ever had. So, yeah, it was good.
You end up with a ring.
Yeah, the ring here, and I don't break it out for much. But yeah, it's a life. I feel like it's a lifelong accomplishment, and of course, the way Rock Ventures does it, Mike Zimmerman and Dan, they get us the best stuff, and always take care of us. So it was, and I told the guys, how, and it was great. We had to proclamate that we beat Amsterdam. It was like 6 hours away. I think it was actually better to celebrate it with your players after that long season, and then you celebrate a championship. The trophy's on the bus, and it's the last time you're probably going to see a lot of those guys, and it was the best way to do it. There was the talks of the franchise being bought and selling to somebody, so there was a lot of things going on during that season. But I think Mike and Dan felt like Mike just wanted to make sure to put it in the right hands, and I think the best way to do it was to do what they did. And I think it's a cool story. And for you guys to, run with it and put in the time and the effort and get people involved, like a community-based organization, that's going to be the way it works, I think. It's always great talking about, Jamestown and what we accomplished, and, the future of Jamestown baseball, and let's not forget about the past, and and all those people that put in the hard work, and the affiliated organizations that were here, and and I still remember going to the Expo games when I was a kid too, and it's a great place to have a baseball team, and just hope to continue it.
These are the secrets of champions. Okay, Javar Gillette and Steve Chase and Chris Walter, we're going to talk about body fat, lean muscle mass, and weight.
Everyone steps on the scale and thinks that we record weight and that's the end all be all, but we're more concerned what's going on if you lost a lot of weight or gained a lot of weight. And that's the only reason why we're constantly trying to monitor that. If we feel we need to go in and check your body fat, that's the main measure that we're looking at is body composition. So how much lean muscle mass do you have? How much body fat do you have? And if you're gaining or losing muscle mass or body fat throughout the course of a season, that's what we're trying to monitor. And weight just gives us a quick little indication of whether or not we have to go deeper into the analysis and make sure that you're maintaining your muscle mass over the course of the season.
I think one of the things that's rarely understood is that muscle weighs more than fat. I mean, that's kind of known. With that composition of what is that player made of is big, because a lot of times a guy can be very heavy on a scale and actually be very strong and powerful. And it's not, so just that scale weight isn't really a true indicator of what we're really dealing with. And so by monitoring the weights, taking them twice a month, doing body fats when we need to, it gives us just another tool as a way to help the player.
So what you're saying is that measuring weight as the only outcome is inappropriate, and it does not give a very strong indication, an accurate indication of the performance ability of that player.
That's correct.